Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 FPS. This installment is called Due Date. I am Oatmeal, and today I will be playing the Professor. And with me today, I was gonna
Hello.
think of a thing to
Oh,
intro you, but I didn't think of one.
I give you a gentle pat. Hi, I am Authenticity. Today I'll be playing a whole ass library. The entire thing. Yes.
Yep.
Well,
So it's been a while since the professor has visited the library. I think the last time, officially he's been to it. Period was he met Crystal there, for a bit, months ago, ages.
mm-hmm.
So,
uh, my first question is this.
mm,
Does the professor have any outstanding books?
I don't think he does. For if only because you know what? I should roll for it because he wouldn't typically, because I think he does most of his reading in the library because he can read so fast. But
Mm-hmm.
he does like to take his time with some books, like if he's particularly enjoying them, or typically like a fiction book or poetry or something like that.
Hmm.
So let's see. I guess I'm gonna roll. What stat would it be to remember to return a book on time?
Maybe history?
Yeah, I guess that works well enough. Uh, okay, that's gonna be an 18. So, uh, pretty good?
Hmm. Yeah, I'd say that you successfully remember to return. Let's see. I'm going to say that you got out. Unless you have an idea, I'm going to give you another joke.
Oh, no, by all means.
Um, I think that you are currently returning Bride and Prejudice.
Oh, man.
It's about bakers.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, there you go. Uh, yep, that's what's up. So, he is going into the library.
Mm. You walk through the doors, and the by this point familiar, um, small froggish, toadish little Toon is sitting typing away at her typewriter that is made of books on top of her desk, which is also made of books, in this library, which is largely made of books.
Mm-hmm.
And without looking up, she goes, "Hello and welcome to the Toontown Library. How can I help you?"
I. Oh, the voice. Oh boy. Wow. Okay, I needed a minute. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Um.
I drink milk for this.
Man. I'm just returning a book.
Put it in the slot. In the desk made of books, there is a slot for you to put your books in. It's also made of books.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
He does that. Um. And I do have one question because I don't remember if it was specified. When we did, what was it? It was Ancient Relics or something.
Mm.
We did pass the uh, the librarian, but
Yep.
I don't remember if it was specified what she looked like.
Um, I actually listened back. I did say at the time that it was a younger version of the librarian.
Mm.
However, I am going to go ahead and retcon that and say that she looks exactly the same.
Okay, would you want me to roll to remember that fact?
Um, with advantage.
Okay.
Because I think that's that particular mathematical equation of this person should be this old at this time is probably something that the professor is pretty used to doing.
Oh yeah, frankly, yeah. All right. That's see that +9. That's a dirty 20.
Oof. Yep. Exactly the same. Is that the same cardigan? It
Oh.
might be the same cardigan.
Oh boy. Okay. Um. um. Boy. Well. I think he's going to just sort of like he puts the book in the slot, um, and then he just sort of like stays by the desk a moment, and he says, say, could you answer a question?
Certainly.
Why? What does the library have typically personal journals in it? I'm not talking autobiographies, I mean like handwritten.
Uh, the librarian stops typing and looks up at you with the sort of measured look that old lady librarians can give you, where they're trying to gauge whether um, you're being stupid on purpose or whether it's sort of a side effect of something else that you have going on in your life. Um, and she goes, "Well, we are fortunate to have a relatively robust set of memoirs. They are not typically handwritten. Are you looking for something in particular?"
No, more just wondering why I found something here at a different time. I left it on the shelf where it was, which also didn't seem to match the subject matter, but just sort of curious if somebody had left it there or if that was actually part of the library's collection.
Unless it was in special collections, it is unlikely that it was part of our catalog. May I ask what exactly you found?
Yes, you see, I found the journal and notes of one Professor Pete Moss.
Hmm. Roll an insight check.
Would love to.
And that is a...
What is your insight? It's bad. Yeah, no, that's absolutely. Oops. Type the right number. Okay, it's an 8.
She got a 7.
Oh man.
Oh boy. At the name Pete Moss, there is a little bit more of a crease to her brow, kind of like, why are you asking about this? Like, did not expect the question, and the question was not necessarily welcome. You also get the impression that, like, if you had been just a little bit less paying attention, that would have been not something that they would have communicated.
Well, it's just that I'm trying to figure out, well, if I can, what exactly happened to Pete Moss.
I am going to roll my own insight. What does a 24 get me?
A 24, the statement he said is true. He does want to know what happened to Pete Moss. His intentions are curious and maybe not directly personal, but like definitely involved. Yeah, 24. He. This isn't. He's not trying to, like, chase off Pete Moss or anything. Like, he's not looking for Pete Moss for a bad reason. He. If they might recall, he did seem to be allied with Pete Moss the last time they crashed through the library together.
Actually, we should probably roll a history. Hang on. I think that the fact that he doesn't have malicious intentions, like, she had started to, like, sort of lean forward, like, not imposingly. This is a very short person, but, like, and with that, she seemed satisfied with something. And then, let's see, history. Okay, that would be a 19.
Okay, you've seen him in here, like with Pete, and probably also like with TOC, with the chicken that's sometimes in here.
Also, this is a real kind who has apparently not aged a day in 50 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. In fact, his clothes look the same.
Is that the same cardigan? Yeah, she has no room to judge there, but I think she kind of, like, thinks and drums her little stubby fingers on one of the books that her desk was made up of, and she goes, sorry, Professor Moss is not. Man, I got the voice down perfect the first time. Now I'm struggling. Professor Moss is not. Forgetting the word. Like, when someone sells you a property, but it's not actually selling, they still own it, and you have to keep paying them.
Royalties?
Rent.
Oh.
Good Lord. Professor Moss has not rented a lab space with us for some time. However, many of her things that are still in storage may have gotten mixed up with the rest of our inventory.
Oh, well, that may very well explain the journal then.
Kind of stares at you. like not like intently, just waiting for you to.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Well, hmm. Uh, I and a few others are trying to, sort of figure out, what happened after, she, stopped working at the library's labs.
You mean after she was arrested?
What? What? She was arrested?
The librarian sighs. And I'm going to say with a dirty 20, you can see that, like, not only is this an unpleasant topic, this is like, not especially for her.
Mm.
And she gets up from the chair, which actually means that she's shorter in comparison to how she was when she was on the chair, and steps out from behind the desk and gestures for you to follow her down a set of stairs.
Yep, he's gonna follow.
Um, while they're in transit, would you like to make a perception check with advantage?
Certainly. Alright, what's my perception? Yeah, that's a 10.
Mm. There'll be other opportunities for you
Observe.
to notice.
Alright.
Yes. I think that like it's you're heading obviously below ground level, and there's sort of a twisting spiral staircase that seems to go down a lot farther than you would expect.
Hmm.
Um, and it takes you down a couple of different floors. Apparently, this place has several basements.
Hmm.
Until you reach a large room that's similar to the room that you visited with Professor Moss, is lined with filing cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she stumps down uh, the aisles until she reaches a filing cabinet. There's a little ladder for her to reach the top drawers,
Hmm.
which she climbs and pulls out a newspaper clipping and hands it to you.
Yeah, he's gonna take that and read it.
Mm. It's a newspaper clipping talking about the arrest and subsequent escape of a Professor Moss who was um, supposedly working to marry druidic magic with necromancy in such a way that would be medically useful. Until someone looked at her papers and realized that the human trials that she had only recently gotten approval for were probably going to cause very, very high mortality rates. And furthermore, there was evidence that she had done this on purpose in order to have more necromantic subjects for her research.
Hmm.
Um, Authorities were sent to her lab, which was located in the belfry of the Toontown Public Library.
Hmm.
However, she was able to make her escape before she could be led back into the main building.
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew there was some issue with some controversy regarding her work, but I didn't realize it was... Well, I mean, that's quite the accusation.
Are you... And she kind of, like, hesitates. Which university are you affiliated with?
The Falagrain Academy.
That's not a real academy.
Yes, it is.
Would a history check give her anything?
Absolutely not.
Stares at you. I know all of the universities.
What about a secret university?
The eyebrows go down. She has decided you're being stupid on purpose.
He is. He just shakes his head. Does it matter?
I would like to know what your interest is.
I'm not affiliated with any university presently or recently even. I am not employed. Period.
Qualifications. I am not employed. I'm going to roll another insight. 17.
This seems to be technically true. He is not currently employed, nor is he associated with any extant universities, nor has he been for some time.
She relaxes somewhat, and kind of looks you up and down, taking note of the clothes and the state of them. And she seems to gently buy this.
Oh my god.
Like, again, she's made her judgment, but also, she 100%, like, you seem like you're homeless.
Yeah. Oh god. But yeah, he just sort of like waves a hand and he's like, my intention in looking into this is not professional so much as it is personal.
Personal.
Yes. I met Pete Moss on one occasion, and I am friends with two people who were very dear friends of Pete Moss.
Which two people?
The ticked off chicken and Seeker. Uh-huh. Is there
Stunning reviews. Stunning reviews. The chicken who always fights with her, and the goat who uses someone else's library card.
Oh, man.
I think she kind of comes to the conclusion that if you were like trying to con her, you'd come up with something better.
Uh-huh.
It Let me make one more. Can I just do a general insight vibe check on the professor?
Mm-hmm.
29.
Holy crap.
Like, give me whatever you want for a 29, but specifically, is this a person who goes through life trying to be kind, trying to make the world a better place? Like, what's his vibes? Are the vibes valid?
Yes. This is a person who goes through life, like, being kind and trying to, right wrongs and, improve the world, in, small ways and sometimes big ways. And maybe he has secrets, but he keeps his secrets for good reason. And he may be a little eccentric, but for the most part, he's genuine. And like he it certainly doesn't look like he cares about money, like, or anything like that. Uh, Wealth or power. It doesn't look like he values these things. Um,
Mm.
so, uh, yeah, I'm not sure what else. That's a really good roll. Um, I guess, yeah, sort of a general insight. Um, he, uh, something about his, manner. Maybe it's something in his eyes, like, suggests. Well, you also did see him back then. Suggests that he's probably not the age he appears to be.
Mm.
And he's very, this is an experienced person.
Mm-hmm. Could she ballpark like more than 500, less than 1,000?
Oof.
It's okay to tell me no.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Not without, like, uh, some kind of, like, time sense or, like, possibly true sight paired with, like, knowledge of souls. Like, that's.
Mm. It's blind sight, dark vision. Mm. Um, I think that like you are being evaluated just straight up, and she's not trying to um hide that fact.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever she sees, she seems to not necessarily approve of or disapprove of, but you seem to meet the criteria. And she relaxes a little bit, and she goes, "You should know that this is a very special library.
Oh.
Although we also, of course, cater to the public. This is also a place that people may go for sanctuary.
Oh. I don't think I was aware.
Pete Moss was one of these people.
Oh.
While people are under my protection, they cannot be scryed upon, they may not be found through most magical means, and those who are attempting to look at to see them, that was me, not her. And those attempting to find them for less than benevolent purposes generally have a very hard time spotting them.
Mm-hmm. he just sort of like nods, and then like scrubs his hand over the face, and he looks frustrated, and he says like, "I took her out of the library."
It's not a prison.
No, I mean, she
It's less of a, or in effect, more of a contract, if that makes sense.
all right.
However, it is my belief, knowing what I know of her, that the accusations pitted against her were both to steal her research and to rob her of a place that she felt safe.
I don't doubt that.
You may also understand that those who come looking for her typically do not have her best interests in mind. I am telling you this because I am trusting that you do.
Yes. No, I do know that. I know particularly a specific person who would have her worst interests in mind. I mean, rivals, that's one thing, but this is on a different level.
Mm. She was not the only one under my protection.
Mm-hmm.
So was her assistant.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, they met a seems to be looking for the right words. They had a particular magical accident not long after her disappearance.
Hmm.
However, they are still employed here.
Huh.
Although I doubt that they will have much information for you, it is a contact that may be useful to you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've only met one other person who works here besides you.
Looks at you.
Just sort of like tilts his head a bit. Um, Rubber and your glue?
Yep.
Huh. Does that does that mean they're like 30, 40 years old?
They have been 18 for nearly 2 decades.
Oh. I see.
Additionally, although I'm no longer able to offer the professor my protection, they very much are.
Hmm.
And they like kind of blink at you, and um, there's an interesting uh, an, an interesting sort of feel to the air suddenly, and you're not quite sure if it was a change or if you just hadn't noticed it till then, but it feels very kind of close and humid, and it smells kind of like pennies, like
Hmm.
not blood, but pennies.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, and like I rather than like any sort of posturing, rather than any sort of like threat. It's just sort of generally understood that if you hurt Gloo, you're going to have a very difficult time for a long while after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's just what's happening is interesting. And he's kind of got like a slightly intrigued look, but he just sort of like he like puts a hand up and shakes his head slowly, like, I have no intention to bring any harm to you or yours.
I am aware.
All right.
She will set off back towards the staircase. Would you like to make another perception check?
Yeah. Okay, much better. That is a 21.
Um, Interesting note about the architecture as you move through this library.
Mm.
Like it's and it makes sense a little bit that the professor didn't notice this originally, because like it's very ellipsis-ish, and he is used to the ellipsis. Doesn't remark her as anything unusual. But this building, more than most places you've been in Toontown, doesn't seem to make spatial sense.
Kind of non-Euclidean.
Non-Euclidean, but also in a bigger on the inside, smaller on the inside. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the rooms just exist with absolutely no regard for each other.
Yeah.
As do the walkways and the staircases.
Very wonky
You came,
dimensions.
yes. There's also an element of, you're quite a ways down underneath the ground at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, when she climbs up a single flight of stairs and leads you off to the side through another corridor, there's windows with bright sunlight streaming through them.
Mm.
The staircases are very Etcherish.
Ah, yes.
And any library goers that you pass on your way through this building don't seem to notice. They just seem to take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And in far less time than you also see a small child skitter by in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But in far less time than it should take, she opens the door and leads you out onto the roof of the Toontown Public Library.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a medium-sized sort of observation deck or walkway, and then the belfry to which leads a trap door.
Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't introduced herself.
I don't think he has either, to be fair.
Fair enough. Also, a question about True Sight. Is that always on for the professor?
It is, yes. It is in fact passive and always on. It is limited by range to roughly melee range.
I think I'm going to hand wave this as saying that Hildegard has a great feeling of personal space, but as actually, let me look that up.
it also like I roll for it every time because sometimes it just straight up doesn't like work. Like it
Hmm.
doesn't. He's just not able to like tune into it. Like it is passive and like stuff can just happen and he'll see it.
Hmm.
But when I like in order to sort of nerf this ability, which is very powerful, I do a thing where like unless the DM wants to give me something, if I want to look at something intentionally, I roll to see if it's working, and if it's working, then I can roll perception with it.
Hmm. Um. Okay. I might have you roll a couple times for the rest of your time talking to the librarian.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Because there's something you could get.
Mm-hmm.
Um. However, it's like one way or the other, the professor will know it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, the librarian uh, waddles over to the trapdoor and looks at it and kind of gives a little jump, and she can't reach it.
I've got it. Um, I assume he can probably reach it.
Mm. I think as she's about to climb inside, a page of paper sort of wafts through the open door behind the two of you and slaps her in the face, and she looks at it and goes, "Oh, excuse me, I've been paged." Um,
That's very good.
um, and I think before she leads, or before she goes inside, she will lean in and go, "Glue, there's someone who wants to talk to you about the professor." Um, and then jumps back down and waddles in,
Mm-hmm.
leaving the trap door open for you.
Yep. He's gonna climb up. Uh, just calls like, "Hello."
Hmm. You find yourself in a very large, almost warehouse large room. The most actually roll a perception check
Sure.
before I launch into the spiel.
Yes. 13.
Hmm. The most eye-catching um, aspect of this room is um, there's this large um, stained glass iridescent um, uh, clock that seems to be constructed in such a way that at different points throughout the day, the stained glass reflects different colors into the room.
Mm.
Um, it is uh, almost more like a enormous moving mural rather than like a timepiece.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the second thing is a brightly colored children's bed that's made to look like a princess tower. And the tower is a bookcase, and there's a little spot for a child to climb up inside. Um, and of course, the pillows and the blankets are um, in disarray as small children's beds are.
Mm-hmm.
It is covered in plushy chickens.
Oh.
At this point, there's probably every color except black.
Hmm.
Um, it's as your gaze sort of goes around. It's very much like um, a studio apartment. Like it, with mismatched furniture and things going things sort of stashed hither and yon. There's very large bird feathers for some reason, but they're sort of half swept up. Um, there's books and bags, and is that Lauren's shirt?
Oh my god.
In the laundry bag, it's
I,
that's there apparently.
uh, uh, does there appear to be a person in this space?
Um, at first you don't think so. Until one of the shadows of the cast by the clock face, which is at this time, I'm gonna say like a silvery sort of blue. Um,
Hmm.
one of the shadows bends independently of the others and sort of steps forward, and you see um, a very familiar, very tall Toon, and Rubber Near Glue blinks at you.
Oh, hello again.
Oh, hello again.
Well, don't know if you heard, but, the librarian. Oh god, I really should have gotten her name. Um,
Hildegard.
ah. Um, I suppose I'll have to give her mine. But, yes, uh, called in here to say that I was, here to ask about, the professor. The Professor Pete Moss. Not me. I'm called the professor, but,
Mm.
just the professor.
Could you roll an insight check?
Yeah. My god. 7.
They're unreadable. Um, but they maintain eye contact. You think as they uh nod slowly and step over to one of the tall, thin, rickety-looking bookshelves, and they just kind of reach up and grab all of the books at the top
Mm.
and smoothly arrange them in a pile on the floor and
Mm-hmm.
sit cross-legged. You are can do the same, or there's beanbag chairs.
Yeah, he's gonna sit on the floor as well.
Mm. Uh, and you can see that it is actually a collection of um, books and literary journals that Pete Moss has written.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there is, gosh, it's been a while. Most of them have to do with agriculture or medicine. A lot of it has to do with using normally kind of sinister magic for growth and horticulture,
Mm-hmm.
and you can sense themes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Glue seems to sort of arrange this body of research in front of you and sits back and waits.
Hmm. Um, I I think he's gonna look them over, and I think the thing he wants to check first is uh, if he can see any pattern in like the dates that they were published.
Hmm. All but one are before the date that you met Pete Moss.
Hmm.
Um,
And the one, is that by any chance the one that he was able to find a copy in UPA University that was like co-authored?
um, yes.
Mm-hmm. That one has been brought up like by name a few times, I know.
Yes. I am looking to see what it was called. While I'm looking for that, though,
Yeah.
um, I think that Glue um, kind of tilts their head at you. They seem to be trying to figure out how to ask a question.
Hmm. Um, he's gonna make uh, a wild guess and look up and say, I met Pete Moss once, and I have two friends who knew her.
Oh, it was treatise on necromantic magic as an agricultural tool. Um,
Yeah, that's the one.
um, and Glue seems to nod. Um, and they open their mouth, like lifting the lid of a record player.
Mm-hmm.
And without moving their mouth, they say in Pete Moss's voice, "We got the grant." And the tone of voice in this little snippet is happier than easily the entire time that you were interacting with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just sort of like smiles and nods his head. Yep, that one. Um, Trying to figure out what all happened.
In a voice that you don't recognize, Glue says, "Same."
Hmm.
It
Hmm?
it kind of comes in a patchwork. Glue actually seems like they're still eerie and creepy, but they seem much more animated than the first time that you met them.
Mm-hmm.
And in this sort of patchwork of different voices, um, they go, um, "How did you meet her?"
Oh, kind of a funny story. About hmm, uh, roughly 30, 40, 50, 50 now. Years ago. Um, I think it was that long. Because I think we said it was roughly the 70s.
Mm.
And now it's, yeah. Um, yeah, he says, like, roughly 50 years ago, I, uh, uh, I came into the library to find her, arguing, with some, suit who was, going on about this, policy with, artifacts and, keeping them, in a museum. Pete Moss was not having any of his bowl. Said that if the artifact was still in use by the people it originally belonged to, then it ought to be returned to them. He disagreed and stormed off, and the two of us, I helped sort of mediate, and then after that, I offered to join her to help in securing the artifact from the library and escaping with it. And we did do that.
Hmm.
That's about when we parted ways.
Glue takes out a. Actually, I think that they take out two small notebooks. One they sort of just lay on their chin, and the other they flip to a page, and you can see that like this very small page is covered in handwritten notes about peat moss. Anything from like did not mind the food broccoli to was working on this project at this date to always wore shoes. And they find a very small corner of the page that has not been written on, and they don't care if you see. They write committed larceny 50 years ago.
He just sort of nods.
Mm.
Like, that's the long and short of it. um, I also observed the oddest thing, which is while she was in my company, she wrote an entry in her journal. But then, closer to the present time, not especially long ago, I found it here in the library, and the log had been changed. I don't know what would have in a way that didn't quite make sense, given the context.
They tilt their head at you.
Well, it was sort of an account of meeting me, um, and oh, what did she put in the journal? I don't know. I was interesting. But then when when I found it later, um, it had been scribbled over with not to be trusted, and he just sort of like puts his hands up like, I haven't interacted with her since I dropped her off. Uh, so I don't know why she would have done that, what purpose she would have. Uh, my friend, who also knew Pete Moss, seemed to think it rather odd himself when he read it. But I mean, that's what it says.
I need to roll something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was a nat 20 on history.
Oh.
For Reverend or Glue. So I think that they like they're sort of like tentatively, or not tentatively, but like listening sort of with this neutral sort of cast to them. Very much like even if the professor is a little defensive,
Mm-hmm.
like they don't in any way seem
Reactive.
like this. Yeah. Um, except that slowly over the course of the story, there's sort of this strained look of recognition, but without the familiarity that comes with recognition.
Hmm.
And they sit up a little bit straighter and they stare at you.
Um,
Um, and I think they open their mouth in that strange way that they have, and they say, in Pete Moss's voice, time travel.
oh boy. Um,
And they seem to kind of like not focus on him, and they repeat sort of over and over, time travel, with time travel, with time travel, mess with time travel. Like they're trying to tease more of it together.
mm-hmm.
What's the professor doing?
He had kind of like, uh, uh, kind of like made a face when, they said time travel, like, ugh. um, but then, when they start to get like more out of the clip, um, he like, leans forward, like eagerly, like, yes, yes, that's got to be relevant.
Hmm. It takes them probably a good. Actually, let me roll for it. It takes them a good 10 or 15 minutes, but and they kind of like they're sort of like whispering it into their hand so that they can have a tiny bit of privacy. But finally, they lift their head and they say to you in Pete Moss's voice, "If you want to mess with time travel, you go ahead. I've just trust me. It's a bad idea."
Ah, well, yes, well, she, held the same view back then, um, when she met me. Um, and I have to imagine continued to hold that view for, reasons which I'm not really sure that, I'm not sure if you would know. Depends when, depends how much she told you and when you met her, I suppose, but, yeah, no, she has kind of a history with, time acting badly.
They kind of nod slowly. And I think they say in Seeker's voice, "Oh, that makes sense."
Uh, you've, you've met Seeker?
Would you like to roll an insight check?
Yeah. Um, 12. God,
Hmm.
these rolls. Professor, come on. You do better than that.
I think a 12 is enough to like they've met Seeker, but it's like they don't treat the Seeker sound like voice clips with uh the same attitudes that they treat the Pete Moss sound clips. Like um they're more along the lines of the lore or the Hildegard or the regular Joe voices that they've picked up. Like you think it's probably
Just
like
part of their vocabulary at this point.
yeah, Seeker is a patron of this library.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And they've interacted.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Well, maybe not. Um, well, I don't think I mentioned, but actually, if you see Seeker again, maybe try to say hello, because Seeker is actually one of the people who knew Pete Moss rather long time
Uh,
ago.
they say in your voice, Seeker.
Yes, that's what he goes by.
Seeker.
Oh, I don't know what he's seeking.
It no insight check necessary. It's not really in a questioning sort of way as much as it is like, you're shitting me. Seeker. Really? Okay, Seeker.
He just shrugs, like, I don't know. They were friends. They lived in the same place for a while.
They nod. Like, okay, that's fine. Um, I think that they take the little notebook that they had on their bouncing on their leg for a while, and they hand it to you. It's would you like to make a Arcana check?
I would love to. Oh my god. Terrible.
Oh,
Yep, nope, that's a 5. Total. Come on. I don't know why I'm rolling so bad today.
it's interesting that you recognize the handwriting on the outside of this book. It's clearly Pete Moss's, but because you flip through it, you can't read the um you can't read any of the notes inside. You can see diagrams and the dense blocks of text, but it's very hard to make sense of. Um, would you like to look closer?
Absolutely.
All right.
Should I roll?
I don't have the notes for. I believe yes. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, alright. Let's see, that's what's my wisdom save mod? Okay, 14.
Um, please take 4 points of psychic damage.
Okay, he's resistant, he's gonna take 2.
Nice.
He just sort of, like, squints one eye as he winces a little bit. Oh, okay.
Um, you get the idea that there's interestingly probably a homemade spell keeping this notebook encrypted.
Hmm.
Um, it's as he sort of wince, Gloo nods. Yeah.
Well, that's rough. Hang on. No. If it was just a language. I know somebody who, I don't know if he qualifies as a language expert, but he's very good at them. Comprehend languages wouldn't do you very much good for something like this. It's not just that. It's uh, enchanted. It's probably encrypted on top of that, or behind it, or whatever, or both. Um, See, I don't have remove curse either. No. Well, it is a puzzle.
Gloo nods, like, yeah.
Hmm.
You get the feeling that this notebook has been puzzled over by them, by the librarian, by any other high level wizards or artificers that might be affiliated with the library.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly if a lot of Pete's research was part of a criminal investigation.
Ah.
Uh,
Hmm. Well, that's annoying.
they nod.
Shoot. Just trying to think if there's any way I can. Hmm. I know a decently powerful wizard, but hmm, I don't know. It's a home. This isn't. It's a custom enchantment. This is not. Even if it's a powerful solution, it's not going to take a normal solution. Oh, I'll think on that one. Well, thanks for showing me at any rate.
Blue nods, having quietly listened while the professor had a conversation with himself.
He does that.
Um, I will note this. It might stand out to the professor that this one is encrypted, the other one wasn't. So, like, this is probably like
Notes
her,
into research stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the not for kids research.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
way if this notebook could be kept in a gun locker, it would.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Huh. Well, I'd love to see what's in there, but it would take some doing. Well, I mean, there's a very good possibility that, well, uh, that the only person who could undo this is Pete herself. I mean, probably somebody could crack it eventually, but the easiest way would be to just get Pete to do it.
Um, I think that Glue will like kind of nod dejectively and look up at you with not a lot of hope. And that they had worked together. Um, do you know where it could be?
He kind of, uh, he grimaces a little bit. He says, I know, uh, I have a rough idea where Pete Moss is, yes. It's,
They
it's not good.
they lean forward, like it's into your personal space.
Mm-hmm.
Their hair might be in your lap, like
Yeah.
they are intent.
Yeah, he just nods a little bit. Um, I can be reasonably certain that she is presently located in the bog. Does that mean anything to you?
Um, they will. Um,
Yeah.
I think actually their attention goes it passes over you to a little bottle that's set almost in a place of honor on a table. It's empty and the bottle uh the top is uncorked. But they seem to sort of glance uneasily at it.
Is that from the bog?
They nod.
May I have a look?
They nod.
Alright, he's gonna go over and take a look at it.
Hmm. Appears to be made of sturdy hand blown glass. Uh, the top is one of the ones that you can use to like make beer kombucha, like
Uh-huh.
the this really good plug ones. I don't know what they're called. Um, Kind of like the old fashioned soda, reusable soda bottles.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Real thick, old, old soda bottle.
yeah. Does he have any sort of like the identify spell or anything he'd
Oh,
like to use?
yeah, he has identify. Well, I mean, yeah, if he thinks it's from the, if he knows it's from the bog, then, yeah, that's something he would try. He would try identify. Do you want the details of that spell?
I'm pulling it up now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure what school of magic this is, but this is a magical container meant to keep um more metaphysical things like a soul or a memory. Um like things that like could be used in a fade deal on the more abstract side. Um and based off of just sort of um the make of the bottle, probably part of a set.
Oh boy. Wow. Yeah, he's just sort of got like his one hand on it, and he glances back at Gloo, um, like frowning, and he's just like, "This is. Do you know what this is?"
They nod.
Do you know what's in it? I can't tell from.
Uh they uh they say very softly, empty.
Oh.
Um and I think that like they think and they point at the bottle in your hand and then they tap their own chest.
Uh. Either you're saying you've got what was in the bottle in you, or you're saying you're empty.
Uh they hold up a single finger, the first one.
Okay. Um. Was it originally in you and then in the bottle and then back in you, or is this a situation where this was not something that you originated with?
They nod. They originated with it.
Good grief.
Um would you like to roll an arcana check?
Yeah. Ooh, finally. Alright, what's my arcana? Yeah. Dirty 20.
Oh, okay. I think like this person has seemed very like they're there, but they don't really have much of a presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just not a lot to them. They're a very simplistic, empty person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they're not as empty as they were the first time um you
Met.
met them,
Yeah.
and you can guess to some extent that's um in part to the circumstances that led them to have signs of other people in this room. Um, Little kids' toys and clothes,
Mm-hmm.
laundry, multiple people's clothing in it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you think that whatever was in this bottle has been returned to them, and so they are more whole than they used to be.
Mm-hmm. Did
How
he was just gonna ask, like, was a piece of your soul in there, or?
they seem to consider like that's a way to characterize it, sure. And they nod.
Well, glad you got that back. Um,
Sorry.
he just sort of looks at the bottle again and, like, it kind of looks like a part of a set. He's like, I hope you get the rest of it back.
They nod graciously, like that's very kind of you. Thank you.
All right.
Um, I think they will. They pull up one of their sleeves and they check their watch and they look uh a little bit startled. Um, and they um will look around and find a notebook that that was lying around. Sorry, and they write very very slowly, which is probably why they haven't been writing this entire time. I need to collect my daughter for dinner.
Oh, all right. By all means.
Mm.
Do you want me to, I don't know, shoo, or do you mind if I stick around?
Um, Actually, yeah. Mhm. Um, I think that they like kind of consider, and they go over to the kitchen. Um, and they put together three sandwiches. And they take a bite of one and hand you another, and then lead you out of the trapdoor to go deposit the third one.
Oh, all right.
And I am going to roll an investigation. 18 plus 6. Where's Moss, dear?
Hi, I'm now cameoing. Hello, Oatmeal.
Hi.
Uh,
This is magic.
I'm sorry, the way you said that. I think Moss is currently like, in the middle of one of the bookshelves, because, like, this bookshelf wasn't completely filled out. Maybe, like, it just hadn't been restocked yet, and a lot of people wanted books from this bookshelf. But I think she's, like, in the middle of a bookshelf, and just, like, kind of laying down reading, because she's short enough for that.
Aw.
I think that, like, we have a screen of moths in this sort of, like, close, dark, cozy little space. And then, like, a book is removed and a long, pale hand grabs her and drags her out. Hey, Professor, Gloo just, like, grabbed a child from one of these shelves.
She shrieks, "No, her book!"
He's just smiling. This is funny.
Gloo holds up this child like, this is my daughter. Look at her. She's amazing.
This very short tune with these, like, big old round eyes and very, very dark curly hair kind of blinks at you, and she goes, "Hi!"
Hello. I was, visiting your Ren.
Oh, what are you visiting Gloo about?
He sort of glances at Gloo like, is he allowed to say?
Gloo says in Hildegard's voice, the professor. And Moss will know that this has been Gloo's weird project that's been going on for a while. That they've been doing research into. Probably not any of the particulars.
Oh, I hope it's going well. Have new information? Is that it?
I think we've put a few pieces together. Yes.
She kind of like wiggles. She's very comic because Gloo is like what, over 9 feet tall. She is like 2.5 feet.
Oh
So-
my goodness.
Is tiny professor.
Oh man.
Gloo will return her book to her and hand her a sandwich and put her back in the bookshelf.
Sandwich. She will go burrow back in the bookshelf and start eating her sandwich.
I have to ask, does this kid look like Pete Moss?
I will say there's no family resemblance, but like there's like some similarities with like the dark curly hair and such.
Alright.
Nothing like this is like lost child material. Like if you looked at her and you squinted a little bit sideways, you could see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a person who could remind you of Pete Moss, but not
Yes.
really be mistaken for Pete Moss.
Yes.
Got it.
Mm.
Ice cream.
Thank you for cameoing, dear. By the way, the sandwich is very good.
Oh yeah, yeah. He'll eat the sandwich.
And I think that is there any other places in the library that the professor would like to poke around?
He was I think he would ask Gloo, like, I know there's a bunch of file cabinets tucked away. Did Pete Moss have anything locked in one of those? or do you have most of her stuff?
I think they think they nod that they have most of her stuff, but they do gesture for you to follow them into a different basement. This one is filled with plastic bins with of the sort that you keep like documents long term in. And they lead you through a gate into like, or like, you know how there will be like a section where it's like everyone can see these, and then there's the section of like
The archivists section.
Yeah. And they'll I think it probably takes a while because it's not under either P or M. It's under M. Or not M, B.
Oh.
Professor
Beat Boss.
There we go. And and they pull out a small Professor Beatbox. Fun with phonetics. They pull out a smaller bin, and I think you can see that it's like basically personal correspondence. Like maybe some desk knickknacks, like things that would have been pulled out of her desk. And they off. So glad people are having fun with nosebleeds. They offer the bin for you to look through first.
Yes, he would like to look through it and probably flip through and see if any of the letterheads look either particularly intriguing or interesting or recognizable. Anything family related is going to be a big red flag.
Actually, notably, there's like no letters to mothers or fathers or aunts or uncle. There's a few RFPs. There's a few I'm sorry, but unfortunately your research does not meet the requirements for this grant. However, we will keep you in mind for any there's actually one that was approved that's framed that must have meant quite a lot. There's actually there would be a few letters to a benefactor who seems to have been located in Toontown. It actually could you roll me I just had you roll investigation, didn't I?
No?
Please roll investigation.
Yes.
I'm great at D&D, where we roll dice and do numbers.
Alright, thankfully my modifier saved it. That is a 16.
I'd say, I'm gonna say that's just barely high enough. You find a few letters seems to be talking about financial matters with that usually draw off into more personal tangents between Pete Moss and one Ordelia Quantrell.
Ooh.
Like it seems like this was someone who provided funding for Pete's research, who was also a good friend.
Mm-hmm. Is that name familiar to Professor?
Yes, that was the name that Pete Quantrell introduced herself with, that last name.
Yeah. Yeah. He's gonna make a note of that. And I think he's just gonna ask Gloo, like, do you know anything about Ordelia Contrail?
They kind of blink. They look vague in the way that someone who's trying, like it's not at the tip of their tongue. And they scoot closer to look at the letters.
Mm-hmm. I think
They nod slowly, but they don't seem to be able to provide any more information.
Mm-hmm.
All they know is that they do know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he nods as well, and he says, that's one to keep an eye out for, I think.
They nod.
It would be hard to explain why I think so.
They nod. Like, understandable.
Yeah.
They seem like taking things at face is something that's comfortable for them.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot they don't know.
Yeah.
I think with a 16, I think at the very, very bottom of the box, so like far down and so, like kind of propped up against the side so that it's hard to miss, or that's hard to notice. You find a little stack of photographs, like old Polaroids.
Ooh.
The first is a very young Pete Moss in the graduation gown and cap, and she looks thrilled. The second is with her standing next to a Toon with a snail for a head. Much older, like 30s or 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one of her looking fairly older. And it's kind of a candid shot with her sitting at her desk with a very tall, pale Toon, like resting their forehead or their elbow on the top of her head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they've got this big exuberant smile and a massive, like, artfully messy curly hair that cascades down their shoulders. They're dressed very flamboyantly. Like we're think like bright orange floral on a pink background.
Mm-hmm.
it's bad. And if it weren't for the eyes, which are decked out in similarly exuberant makeup, this person would look a lot like Gloo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the professor is gonna hold that one up for Gloo to see. This is well, differences aside, well, and with the context, there's a very good chance that this is a photo of you.
They take it carefully. They don't seem to recognize this tune at all. Pete certainly, but they just look very confused.
He just sort of like tilts his head at it and says like, just sort of the general body shape and such.
I think they carefully separate out the photo of youngest Pete, and they offer the other two to you, if you would like to keep.
Sure, yes, thank you. These might come in useful. Well, that, and I can think of somebody who'd like to see them.
They nod. I think that let's see, would there be anything else? I think that's probably it for the bin. Is there anything else the professor would like to look at in the library?
Well, he's gonna ask first, why is it in B?
They kind of tilt their head like, huh. And they stand up and they look at the rest of the
Like the
they look at the rest of the bins in the B section. And even though they're all clearly marked with B, meaning that they should be in the section, most of them have names written on the sides that start with B, but not all of them.
Either there's some other level to this that I don't know, or some of these are misfiled.
They shake their head like nothing in this library is misfiled.
He shrugs. Well, then there's something else. There's some secret metric by which these are sorted that I can't fathom.
They nod agreeably, like, yeah, that's it.
Right.
But I think that they will lead you back up to the atrium and bid you farewell and shake your hand.
He's gonna ask one last thing before he does that.
Oh yeah?
He's got kind of a grin on his face as he tilts his head and he says, have you met Lorem Parif?
It's interesting because their expression has changed very little over the course of this. However, they do definitely brighten. Like, it's just talking about Lorem makes them happier.
Mm-hmm.
And they will nod.
Good. I'm glad.
They nod like, yeah, they're glad too.
All right, I'll see you then. Thank you so much for everything.
Mm. I think like as you leave, Hildegard, it sort of gives you a wave from the front desk. Would you like to roll for true sight?
Yes, please. Let's see. This is gonna be for is it working? Okay, that meets the DC.
Oh dear.
So it's
all right.
It's working. Now I'll see how well I can see. Because if it's something really low, then like he can just it's kind of fuzzy. Like if you're nearsighted, you know? If it's high, then he can see a whole heck of a lot. Alright, what is my perception modifier? Okay, that's a 16.
Ooh, okay. Sorry, I'm really excited now. As you sort of glance back to wave to Hildegard, your true sight flickers in where it hasn't so far. And that's an ancient bronze dragon sitting at that desk.
I think he just sort of like stops involuntarily and just like looks for a moment like, okay, I am seeing this, right?
This small toadish toon, who also looks very much like she did 50 years ago, and is definitely a dragon, raises an eyebrow like, what? You gonna say shit?
No. he just smiles and shakes his head and goes on his way.
And that's the end of the FPS, folks. Oatmeal, thank you so much for letting me do this.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm so happy.
This has been a delight. Man, I gotta contact you about what part you want to have in big lore games, because not the lore games, the lore games.
Yeah.
Because that's coming up. People are very close.
Ooh. Nice.
In the meanwhile, thank you all so much for listening, folks.
Have a good thank you people listening present and future. Thank you for listening. Have a good time zone. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.